welcome to Tea or Sugar. All right, when you hear the name Elon Musk, what comes to mind? Rockets, right? Electric cars, maybe all the drama on social media. But today, we're going to park all that. We're not talking business. We're diving deep into the philosophy, the big why behind everything he does. And it all starts with one massive question.
Yeah, this is it. What's the meaning of life? Why are we here? I mean, that's one of the biggest questions anyone can ask, right? And for Musk, this isn't just a thought experiment. This one question is the engine driving everything we're about to get into, from how we talk to each other online, to the future of money, and even what reality actually is.
Okay, so if you're trying to figure out the meaning of life, where do you even begin? That's a huge task. Well, for Musk, step one is getting everyone on the same page. Literally, connecting all of humanity. And this brings us straight to his vision for X.
See, he's not just trying to build another social media app. In his mind, X is something way bigger. It's a tool to create what he calls a global collective consciousness. Think of it like this. If you can get all of humanity into one giant town square, sharing ideas, you can speed up how fast we learn about, well, everything.
And you can see how the features they're building are all pieces of this puzzle. You've got secure messaging, audio and video calls, a place for all kinds of media. All pretty standard stuff. But the real game changer, the one feature that points directly at this unifying consciousness idea, is automatic translation. And that, right there, is the whole point. It's not just about letting people talk to each other, it's about letting people understand each other. If you can smash the language barrier, you suddenly have access to the thoughts, the ideas, the intelligence of the entire human species, not just the slice that speaks your language. It's about creating one single global conversation.
Okay, so let's say we're all connected. What's the next big shift? Well, Musk's thinking then jumps to something that affects every single one of us: work. He sees a future where AI and robotics completely flip our relationship with labor on its head.
And his prediction is pretty wild. He's on record saying that in less than 20 years, AI and robotics will get so good that working will be completely optional. We're not talking about a 4-day work week here. We're talking about the end of having to work, period.
So think about what that means. Work becomes a hobby. It's something you do because you want to, not because you have to survive. Kind of like how some people bake their own bread even though they could just buy a loaf at the store. It's a complete rewiring of what it means to be productive and where we find our purpose in life.
All right, let's follow that logic. If work is optional, and AI and robots can make everything we need, then what happens to the whole system we built around work? What happens to money?
Well, Musk has a really specific way of looking at money. He doesn't see it as this ultimate source of power. To him, it's just an information system. It's a database that tells us who does what job. So, if robots and AI are doing all the jobs, what happens to the database that tracks human labor? It becomes useless, right?
Exactly. Its relevance just plummets. I mean, if we get to a point of true abundance, where AI and robotics mean you can have pretty much any product or service you want, then that old information system, money, just doesn't have a purpose anymore.
So what, if anything, replaces it? This is where it gets really interesting. Musk says we have to look at the base layer of reality, physics. The real currency, the thing that actually matters, is energy, because you can't just print more energy. It's a hard physical constraint.
So you see the chain of thought here? We go from connecting humanity to a world without mandatory work to a world without money, and that train of thought inevitably leads to the biggest question of all. What is this? What is the reality we're actually in?
His argument that we might be living in a simulation is actually pretty straightforward. Just look at video games. In like 50 years, we went from Pong, 2 rectangles and a dot, to photorealistic immersive worlds. Now, just project that trend forward. Eventually, you're going to have games, or simulations, that you literally cannot tell apart from reality. If there are going to be billions of those simulations, what are the odds? What are the actual statistical odds that we happen to be in
The nature of reality itself? I mean, these are huge, sprawling ideas. So what's the one thing that ties them all together? Well, to get to his ultimate goal, you have to understand how he thinks about making an impact. He draws a really sharp line between the appearance of doing good and the reality of doing good. It's easy to write a check and look like a good person. It's incredibly hard to actually use that money to create a positive outcome. He's obsessed with the reality. And the one thing he wants to have a real impact on is consciousness. And boom, there it is. This is the whole point. The reason for everything, for building X, for going to Mars, for all of it. The ultimate goal is to expand the scope and the scale of consciousness. But why? What's the point of that? It's so we can learn to ask better questions.
Because if you think about it, his philosophy boils down to this. The universe is the answer. We're living inside of it. The problem is, we don't even know what questions we're supposed to be asking. And that's the real journey. The most important discoveries aren't in the answers we find, but in the questions we haven't even thought of yet. And the main point is to understand that the universe is so vast and that we are still infants in understanding what is around us. A really mind-bending idea to end on. Thanks for diving into this with me. Please stay with my channel Tier Sugar for more explainers like this.